Welcome, everybody, to the very first episode here in Draft Week on the Extra Yard. Before we get going with introductions on the panel and everybody here today, Juan wants to tell you a little bit about our latest sponsor. Juan?
Yeah, I'm excited to announce our very first sponsor for the Extra Yard. The best way I could explain it to all people is, I think we have some Marvel fans here or DC fans. This is kind of like, adding a little bit to your utility belt. You're gonna be like Batman. In these crazy times that we live in, I don't think there's ever a better time to have basically a certified PI, and the list is pretty long with what he does. He does legal investigations, corporate investigations, missing people. He even does, if you got like a cheating spouse, you got some issues you got to handle, he'll got you covered. Just hit him up, mention the Extra Yard, and he'll get you that free consultation. And like I said, there's no better time to have somebody like that on your team.
All right, and we got a little video on that sponsor, so here we go. So huge thanks to our latest sponsor, Closure Investigative Agency. Very excited to have them on. You should definitely go check them out. But tonight we're going to start talking draft prospects. We've been doing that for a while now. And if you've been listening to us here, you've been listening to 3 Yards for Carry, you're pretty educated by now. You know what you're talking about. You want to get more educated, you check out Simon Clancy's draft guide on gridiron football. It is so cheap. It is incredibly informative. I already know I'm smarter than Kai and Juan, and now 10 times that because I've read this guide front to back. Make sure to go check that out. You can find the link.
It is. It's right here.
Look at that.
Look at that. Inside right there.
It's the right side of your screen, incredibly educated. The left side has yet to get there, but that's fine.
Listen, you're the one that didn't want Kyle Pitts, so I don't even want to hear from you.
I will bump you out of here. But we are joined by Alfredo Arteaga, host of 3 Yards Per Carry. We've got a lot to talk about. Alfredo, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's draft week, man. It's draft week. It's Kentucky Derby week, so a lot of drinking, and then all of this stuff, this whole lead up for 6 months is finally over this weekend.
And I've got to ask because I need to know, do you think the anticipation leading up to the draft is more than the anticipation leading up to the season or free agency for you? Like, you guys do a lot on the podcast for sure, but do you think the draft is the one that you're just like, oh, I just want the draft to get here and we can move past it?
Well, you get excited, right? For the draft, you get excited when you start talking about it. I get excited for free agency, but after a while, it's just tedious. And the lies and
Skip Baylesses of the world come out.
And the ridiculousness of like today, Skip Bayless getting on his show and saying the Dolphins should just draft a QB anyway because it's over for Tua.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to all of this and I'm like, man, are people this desperate for content? Talk about the players. There's plenty of players to talk about.
This is like when you make rice in the rice cooker and you've got that little tiny bit left, right? You've taken all of it out and there's a little bit stuck to the bottom. And they're just really scraping it off, right? They're really trying. It's like, dude, just let it go. It's fine.
Good analogy.
That's actually a very good analogy.
Right,
he
listen,
was scraping
Florida,
from the
all us
bottom.
Hispanic people,
He even quoted Armando. Yeah.
Like it is a stretch at this point, but there's a lot of prospects to talk about. We've been talking about a lot of them here. Kind of what we wanted to talk to you about today is, some of these prospects that are overhyped. And the reason why we want to talk to you about it is because I think each of us would defer on you for draft advice. You definitely know more about this than we do. And so the first thing we want to bring up, just because it's at the front of everyone's mind, and I know Juan loves him. Juan wants the Dolphins to draft him so bad. I'm going to throw him under the bus like that, even though he's never said it.
No, I do.
Mac Jones, quarterback out of Alabama. Now, I actually have a friend from San Francisco. He just texted me and he goes, hey, don't you think they should what do you think about the 49ers getting Mac Jones? I'm like, I think he's fine, but I think Tua is better. He's like, yeah, but Mac Jones had a better season at Alabama. I'm like, you're talking one season. I think there's a lot of variables there. I still think Tua is going to be a better NFL player. Help me argue with that person. Help me educate them on why Mac Jones is an overhyped prospect.
Well, I'll give you an example. out of the four of us, I don't know how many of us here own Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin. Okay.
Oh, I
Juan-
think all of us
I'm
do because of
poor,
Juan.
so-
Okay,
No,
Juan, you own
I'm poor.
Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Mac Jones is Dogecoin, and Tua is Bitcoin.
Whoa,
Okay.
wait a minute, but I love Doge. Hold on.
All right, but I'll explain it to you. All right,
Even
like
I
the normal
understand
person, like most people will say, "Wait a minute," but I bought Dogecoin a week ago, and it went up 150%. So therefore, it's better than Bitcoin because Bitcoin has only gone up 500% in the last 365 days. So obviously, Dogecoin is better. No, Bitcoin has a track record. That's what Tua has.
Right.
Yeah.
Mac
I love it.
Jones.
I love this analogy.
Mac Jones was Tua Tagovailoa's teammate for 2 years. Do you think Nick Saban's in the business of playing inferior players? No. He's going to play the better player. That's why he shipped a Heisman candidate. People forget this. Jalen Hurts was a Heisman candidate.
He got banished.
And he got sent to Oklahoma because this freshman stepped onto the field and was better. Now, who was Tua Tagovailoa? He was a 5-star athlete. You know how many of those are every year? About 4 or 5. You know how many are quarterbacks? About 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And not only that, I heard about this guy when he was like a sophomore in high school. Like the guy had a track record. There's a reason everybody was talking about Tua Tagovailoa. I remember Simon on our podcast telling us, wait till this guy plays for Alabama. And I'm like, why would he play? Jalen Hurts is their quarterback. Yep. And he's like, watch. He was expecting him to take over for Jalen Hurts that season at midseason. It didn't happen. He took over at midseason. The hype from Tua is not one that was born from one single season, which was what Mac Jones did last year. It was born from 6-7 years. 5-star athlete, recruited all over the nation. Everybody expected him to be great. Everybody expected him to win a Heisman. He was a Heisman finalist twice. Then he was a top 5 pick in the NFL. So, yeah, there really is no comparison between him and Mac Jones.
A top 5 pick coming off that hip injury. And I got to tell you, you guys got me so hyped on Tua. I've watched that Elite 11 that Tua was in, right, on YouTube about 6 times, right? That final scene where Dilfer calls him up and gives him the MVP, I almost tear up every time. And that documentary on Fox, oh my gosh, all the
and
feels.
let me explain it like this. You know, you guys are kind of young, but you guys know who Gino Torretta is, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, he was a former, for those of you that don't know, he was a former University of Miami quarterback. He won the Heisman, put up monster numbers. Where did he get drafted? Like in the 7th round or something like that?
Yeah, super late.
Okay, I'm not saying that Mac Jones is that because football's gotten a little bit more advanced, and Gino Torretta he had obvious deficiencies, let's just say. Mac Jones is a little bit better athlete. But Mac Jones is exactly what Daniel Jeremiah said he is today. He's a top 50 prospect in this draft, which kind of makes him like the 4th best quarterback.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Juan, you want to ask about the next prospect? The next guy that we think is overhyped? You brought this one up.
Yeah, Alf, I gotta ask you about Jamar Chase. Because I know you've had I think you have. I don't know if you still do. I think you had Devontae Smith firm 1 and then Chase 2, right?
Yeah.
Where I saw kind of Simon had more of like the 1A, 1B type of feel to it.
Yeah, and Chris Kaufman tends to agree with me a little bit more. Like, we're not so sure about Jamar Chase. Like, we know he's obviously a great talent. He belongs in the 1st round. He belongs probably in the top 5. You know, if he gets taken ahead of Devonta Smith, I'm not going to complain. You know, I'm not going to bang the table and say that I'm right and everybody else is wrong. You know, he could easily be a superstar in this league. But there are deficiencies to his game that Devonta Smith just doesn't have. And I really do believe if Devonta Smith weighed 190 pounds, nobody would be comparing Jamar Chase to Devonta Smith. I think people have it in the back of their head
I agree.
that one guy tested, and I think that's important. I think Devonta Smith has had he had some bad advice. Okay, he had some bad advice this offseason. He didn't test. And
none of the Alabama guys tested, right?
Yeah, none of them did. Well, I guess you could say Mac Jones did.
Oh, that was a terrible test.
Okay. But yeah, none of the Alabama guys did. So, you know, he got bad advice. Jamar Chase, what I do see from him, and you can see it on his film all the time. teams tried to jam him, and sometimes you could see him struggling off the line. And he just powers through jams. Watch how teams defend Devonta Smith, and especially watch him last year when Jalen Waddle got hurt, and how they defended Devonta Smith. They bracketed him, they doubled him, they laid off of him. Then they tried to like shade press. Then they tried to play outside leverage on him. He beat all of that, and he actually played better without Jalen Waddle on the field. So you would think, with Jalen Waddle, it's easier for him, right? No, it became harder for him, and he performed even better.
And actually, just real quick before Kai goes on to the next one, I'm going to quote the Gridiron Draft Guide. I'm going to try to do that multiple times throughout the night because you should. And I think it's interesting you bring that up because Simon has on the skinny for Jamar Chase. The last sentence he has in there is, can he consistently defeat press? And it feels like that's what everybody's yelling about Smith. Oh, he only weighs X amount. How is he going to get past an NFL cornerback? Yet he did it so often in college, right? Out of those two, you would say if it was your choice alone, it's Devonta Smith because you have more faith in him defeating press and him getting through that stuff than Jamar Chase, correct?
Yeah, I'll take the skill guy over the bully. You know what I mean? Because the bully in this case is 6 feet, 200 pounds. Yeah. Now, if Jamar Chase was 6'3", 220, then I'd believe him. Like, yeah, this guy's just going to push people around and just get past them. Nobody's going to be able to press this guy. It's different when you're 6 feet, 200.
Yeah. Kai, you want to ask about the next one? And this one hurts me, so I might look away.
Listen, we're not the ones that are sitting on this, stool, though. I think me and you are both the Mac Jones kind of overhype, overrated.
I said Najee.
Juan's over here saying Najee Harris, which I mean, just to put like some 2 cents in, like I guess you could kind of understand where Juan's coming from, but
I'm more so on the and maybe it was not necessarily Najee's overhyped, but I think Travis Etienne's getting kind of undersold a little bit. Like it's like look down at like we're gonna get Etienne.
Wait. Tell the people what you said in our WhatsApp chat when I said get the F out of here with that Najee slander. Tell the people what you said.
I really don't remember. What did I say?
Oh, he doesn't.
You can tell them. You can tell them.
He goes, listen, the guy's always talking about his own skills.
No, you're right. That was today.
Yeah, tell the people what you said.
It was I've seen 2 interviews of him. I've seen the one after his quote unquote like workout with Mac, and then I've also seen basically today's with I think it was K on NFL Network. And it was just more so like, I led all running backs in touchdowns. I wish, it should be talked about more. And it's like, but who needs to talk about it? Like your coaches or the media? Like which one is really concerning you? That you're right. Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah, Alfredo, please.
I'm trying to find
I don't want to be wrong here, but
well, 2 years ago, who was the number 1 rated running back, almost like by consensus, right? It was Travis Etienne.
Yeah,
because we know he's fast.
Yeah.
I don't think we know if Najee Harris is fast. All we have is really his film, and his film is, it's top notch. It's as good as it gets, really. The running back position is really kind of, devalued. And the way you can tell it's completely devalued is this is one of the most highly productive running backs we've seen since maybe Zeke Elliott. Saquon Barkley, I guess you could put him on there. And I haven't seen a single mock that's put him in the top 15. I saw one that had a mock to San Diego. Yeah, and then they took him out. And then I saw another one to the Cardinals. But usually everybody's just sending him to Miami at 18 or to the Steelers at 24 or even Buffalo at 30. But is he overhyped? I'll tell you this, because I told Chris Kaufman this on one of our podcasts once, and he said something really smart, I thought. And that was, I was complaining about, because we were talking about generational talents, and we were all on board. Devonta Smith is a generational wide receiver. And I was arguing that maybe to be a generational wide receiver, shouldn't he be 6'4", 220, 6'4", 230, be one of those freaks like Megatron or Julio Jones? And Chris Kaufman said something really smart. He says, well, if Julio Jones and Megatron are in this draft, we should definitely draft them instead. So
yeah, I like that.
So you can only draft what's in front of you.
this
draft. Okay. So he's not going up against Zeke Elliott. He's not going up against Saquon Barkley. He's going up against Travis Etienne. What are Travis Etienne's problems? Well, He had a ball security issue, and that is a serious problem for the NFL. He changed his tuck this past year. Do you guys?
What did you call it? The nipple tuck.
Yeah, he changed it into a nipple tuck. You guys know who Tiki Barber is, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Tiki Barber started fumbling all over the place, and then he changed it.
Yeah.
And then he was a really reliable runner for the rest of his career. Never fumbled.
Yeah, but that's one of the few that was able to actually fix that. Like a lot of times, like it's
Travis Etienne is doing it the year he's coming out of the draft. You know,
it's interesting.
So that
I got beef with Tiki Barber.
So it's kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? And we know Najee does everything right. You know, the only thing we don't know about him is he fast? That's it. So. Right. Yeah, so you can only draft with what's on the board and not against other years.
So then with Najee, I mean, it has to be asked, right? There's a lot of people that say there's other running backs in the draft. You can just do it later. A lot of people argue, why take a first-round running back? Look at all the years of teams that have won with running backs who weren't top picks, so on and so forth. The Dolphins take Najee at 18. Do you think that's a reach?
I don't think it's a reach, and I'll tell you why. I think they have to honor what Eric Studsville did last year. The work he put in last year, he was right. And if they get in that draft room and they ask him again, and he says, "Look, man, we need this guy," and you engineer some way, maybe he says, "You know what? I'm happy with Najee Harris or Travis Etienne." So Chris Greer gets on the phone and engineers some type of trade down where you could take them safely. You want them in the first round because you want that extra year for a running back, all right? You want to milk them for every carry they got in those 5 years. And then at the end of 5 years, you can look at them and you say, you know what? Maybe we want to keep you or goodbye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you want that extra year. You engineer a trade to the end of the first round, pick one of those two guys. I think you want to honor the work that Eric Studsville did last year because everything I've been told is that he was absolutely 100% right with his assessment of the prospects. He loved J.K. Dobbins and he loved Jonathan Taylor.
Those are two great names. Yeah.
Both guys did well. And on top of that, supposedly there was a rumor going around that the front office, like, the grunts, the scouts, the guys that actually put together the board also love Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So you're talking about every single faction in the front office picking every good running back.
And nobody picked them.
And they didn't take a one.
And they didn't take a one. So I would say that this year, since you can't go back, like, if you ask me, I'll take Dalvin Cook instead. The problem is he's not even in this. I was a huge fan of his coming out of FSU, but you can't take him, right? So I want the best. Whatever you got at the top of your board, take them this year.
And I mean, we can ask this one to everyone, right? I'll say it. If they don't take a running back in the first 2 rounds, and it's not because somebody slid, right? If people slide like crazy, like for example, Zaven Collins drops to 36, I'm fine not taking a running back there, right? Kwity Paye's available at 18. I understand it. Somebody else slides, right? If it's because people slide, I understand.
What if Michael Parsons is there at 18?
I just, the off the field stuff, I'm kind of like,
it is weird. It is.
I'm just kind of like,
did you guys listen to our last 3 yards per carry episode, our mock draft episode? Did you see the 2 players we ended up with?
Well, I didn't. I missed that one. I was starting it and I haven't finished it. Who did you guys end up with?
Well, we worked like a front office. We debated each of the picks. I caused a stink at 6, and we ended up taking Devonta Smith because me and Chris Kaufman overruled Simon.
Who did Simon have?
Simon was thinking about taking the better fit in Jalen Waddle or taking Jamar Chase.
Hey, I'm with Simon. I was just saying.
I mean,
but we finally settled on our board, and we ended up sending Kyle Pitts to Atlanta, and we ended up sending Jamar Chase to Cincinnati. So we had to choose between Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle, so we took Devonta Smith. But at 18, I started pounding the table for Najee Harris there. And I got overruled by my 2-3 yard carries. Micah Parsons.
Okay, but that's where. Look, to me, I felt like they gave it a shotgun approach to the running backs last year, and they were like, "We can figure it out. Somebody will slide," and nobody slid. Right? Well, technically they slid, but just not all the way down. They're like, "Oh, we could wait for the next pick," and it never happened. In my opinion, if they don't take a running back in the first 2 rounds, unless it's because like a Javonte Williams slides to the 3rd. I'm going to feel a type of way, right? If they don't take one of the top 4 running backs, I'm going to feel a bit slighted because I think they need to address that position somehow, and they haven't done it in in recent memory, right? So we can start with you, Kai. If they don't take one of the top 4 running backs, would you be upset?
I think it's a simple answer of yes. I just listen. I love what Eric Sudsville was able to do last year, especially considering that the starting back that he had opening day in Myles Gaskin. I think any single person was like, "Yeah, that dude's gonna be the starting back." I don't know. Last time we talked about this, Alf was with us, right? Like Alfredo was with us when we were talking about that. It was like where we said, who knows? It's like we didn't think it was going to be Myles Gaskin, taking the bulk of the carries in New England that first game. And it's like, he did good, having a Savon Ahmed run for 100+ yards against the Patriots, doing what he did with Myles Gaskin and using them in the receiving game. There was a lot that you liked about it, but you got to get a dog. Like, you got to get someone that's going to be the guy. Like, I'm tired of watching Miami Dolphins football where it's like, oh, this is doing good, this is doing good. But man, if they had a running game, it would really open the play action. It would really open this. It would really open that. It would do good for the offense. And it's like, okay, well, then can we get a back that can help the running game? Like, it's getting tiring at this point.
Juan, where do you stand?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the contrarian here because I look at what the team needs and what players are available. Look, I've done a couple mocks. I can't find a center if I don't get them within 36 or 50. There's no center that I can find past that. Like, that is going to be.
You have center as a higher need than running back, though?
Yeah. Ooh. Big time.
I'm okay with
it's not even close. I think for me, it's like you're almost like Creed Humphrey or die. Like, if you're gonna do Dickerson, I get it because he's when he's healthy, he's dominant. Like, there's no other way to describe him. But when he's healthy part. And I think they definitely need to attack center.
With all players.
A lot of them apparently. And I don't know. Like, I feel like if they're gonna prioritize, I feel like Flo's gonna have a big say in that. And if a Michael Parsons there at 18, it's hard for me to envision them passing on that. Which then at 36, you need to go center, in my opinion. I don't think you can leave this draft without like a legitimate candidate to start at center. And then if you're skipping out on running back, then I'm not gonna lie, I spend the afternoon looking up Ramondre Stevenson's tape. I'm starting
Remember
to start.
Someone brought that up in the comments to us, and that was the guy.
I'm just starting to really think that it's gonna be running back late.
So then, Alfredo, I'm assuming you're with me and Kai on this, that it's got to be one of the top 4 guys. I feel like you're going to be with us, and if you're not, I'll probably cry, right? Nobody should take Juan's side. You don't come on the show to take Juan's side.
I would say one of the top 3 guys, really, to be honest with you, because later on, Ramondre Stevenson is a nice player. His problem is that he's a big back, but he chooses to be a big back from
when he wants to. Yeah.
So he changes his running style a little bit. A guy that you should really look into is Mississippi State, Colin Hill. That guy's a player.
I'm looking him up.
I think he's going to be a really good pro, and he has that Kenyon Drake look. He could hit home runs, he can catch it, he could run pass patterns. But are we going to be doing this again? Are we going to start like trying to hit bingo again with a 3rd or 4th round pick?
Yep.
They've been lucky with it before. They found J.J., they found Kenyon Drake, right? So are they going to do it again? I don't know. I think
nobody liked Kenyon Drake. I don't know what happened with this team, but they were like, "Hey, Kenyon, thanks for those couple good games. Sit down." Yeah. I don't know what that was about.
They made him the bell cow for like 7 games, and he was like a top 3 back in the NFL.
And we don't want him. Get him out of here.
Yeah, it was like, forget that guy.
Kenyon Drake did kind of prove that he wasn't a guy that played well with others, right? Like, he needed the ball all the time to do well. Like, he wasn't good in a running back room. So I think just take the top guy and be done with it. As far as centers, Drew Dalman is a guy that Chris Kaufman really likes out of Stanford.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Quinn Miners is
I like Belly Boy.
Drew Dalman, you could get him in the top of the 3rd day. So, like, you could earmark a 4th round pick for him and take him. Quinn Miners, day 2, day 2, because he has fans.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's reaching 50.
Did you see his shirtless though? Like, I'd take that guy.
Yeah, it looks like that dude looks like a barbarian.
I will say this. This is something that I was told specifically by somebody that would know, and I was told specifically that the Dolphins, with their first 4 picks, which are top 50 picks, that those 4 picks they are expecting those guys to play a lot of snaps.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept thinking to myself, man, Michael Parsons, yeah, okay, he may be a great player.
He wouldn't play that many snaps.
He's not going to play a lot of snaps if they take him at 18, So I don't know. I have my doubts. Like, if you're going to do the all-snap team, he's not in it. Zaven Collins is.
Right.
Zaven Collins at 18. Like, I was arguing with Kaufman.
Right there.
Yeah, I was arguing with Kaufman and Clancy, like, hey, meet me halfway. Okay, you're not going to give me Najee Harris? Give me Zaven Collins. And they said no. They said no. We decided Michael Parsons.
And you know what? We all agree with you here, so we're anti Chris and Simon in that mock draft now. Terrible decisions, but we do want to do a mock draft with you, Alfredo. This is all going to be you, so you're going to get your guys. There's no Chris. Yeah. There's no Simon. Right? Don't worry about don't worry about those guys. This is all you. We will discuss the picks with you, right? We will discuss trading scenarios. I think we'll go with no trades regardless of what is offered, just to kind of keep it simple. But Kai, if you have that up and ready to go, we will get Alfredo's mock draft. And then it'll be cool for you guys that are watching. We'll keep doing mock drafts throughout the week. Tomorrow we have Royal. Wednesday we have House. So they'll be coming on and doing mock drafts as well. It's all about them. And we'll be releasing our own The Extra Yard mock draft where we pick each one of the picks. We're not doing any trades. It's already kind of shaken up a little bit because Juan messed up the whole draft with the terrible pick, but you guys will see it when that comes out tomorrow. But for now, Alfredo, 6th overall pick. Here's the board.
All right. I don't see it.
So is it not popping up on your screen at all?
So Trevor Lawrence,
it's popping up, but it's way too small.
Okay. Here, I'll tell you who's available. The top picks available, and I feel like I know where you're going to go, is Penei Sewell. Oh, there you go. Kyle Pitts, Trey Lance.
Okay, perfect. Now I see it. All right.
There we go.
So it went Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Jamar Chase. This is as good a board as you're going to get, right?
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Okay, now if I'm in that draft room, I love Devonta Smith, but I think you take the unicorn here, and I think you take Kyle Pitts.
And this is where I think the discussion comes in. I think Devonta Smith is going to be a more explosive player, right? I mean, he's faster. He's going to take the top off of defense.
Did you see that Sports Science today? Oh my gosh.
But I wasn't super into Kyle Pitts. I thought he was a good prospect. I wasn't super into it until you guys talked about it on the podcast and you mentioned how it was going to be mismatches like crazy, right?
Well,
like having Devonta Smith.
Can't admit that a Gator is going to be a freaking
Bateman.
It hurts to say, excuse me for doing the right thing and hating the Gators trash. I just think with Kyle Pitts, it's the mismatches that he brings that would elevate everyone else up, right? It's like a LeBron James situation where he makes everybody around him better. So that's where I think that's what you're thinking of as well, right, Alfredo?
Yeah. Now on this board right here that I'm looking at right here, Azeez Ojulari would be an awesome pick, right? Zaven Collins still on the board? I believe he is, right?
Yeah, because Michael went, Kwity Paye went. Yeah.
Okay, so like right here, I'd be probably trading down and thinking about maybe a Joseph Osai deep in the draft. Maybe even a Tevin Jenkins.
Oh, I like Tevin Jenkins.
But since it's a no trade draft, right?
That's what we're gonna keep it as. Yeah,
RB1, maybe Najee Harris.
Yeah,
and his running back.
I'm gonna buy a second Dolphins jersey. It's gonna be Najee Harris just for you, Juan.
Why? No.
All right. Creed Humphrey went, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Since Creed Humphrey left. Okay, you can't take Landon Dickerson here. Let's stay true to
question for you, would be. Alf. Would you still feel after drafting Kyle Pitts we have a need at wide receiver?
Oh, I'll be looking
Amari Rodgers.
Late day 2, maybe a specialist. And Amari Rodgers will be a specialist I would look for. And nothing sooner than pick 50. But this pick 36, right?
Yeah.
Let me see at that's not Jalen Phillips that I see there, right?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay, now look, the guy right below Jalen Phillips, Kelvin Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that guy in mind.
He tested amazing.
Through the roof, okay?
Yeah.
Really versatile. We know what this franchise likes to do, right? Like they like to take corners.
They love corners.
What if on their board, Kelvin Joseph is like their number 3 ranked corner and it's pick 36 and he's right there? You know what I mean? But let's do the responsible thing. Let's go get a ready-made pass rusher, right? Best pass rusher in the draft is Jalen Phillips. Just
Easily. Yeah. If it wasn't for that medical, I think he goes top 15-ish, maybe top 10.
What is it about Jalen Phillips that you love so much? Like, what is it that he brings? Like, if you could just like quickly sum it up.
Well, he has a good set of moves, first of all, and he has really, really strong hands. He knows how to extend them, and he gets off the ball really quick, right? And he knows how to put his hands on tackles.
Yep.
So
early.
he's a schooled pass rusher. Like, I wouldn't be surprised the least bit if he blasts off with like 12 sacks.
That Alden Smith.
Do you like him more than Rousseau?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're like different players too. I think Rousseau is more of like, I don't know. Do you think he could play 3 tech, or do you think they're going to try to put him at 5 tech?
I think he's going to play. They're going to try to play him at 5 tech, and then they're going to have to rush him from 3 tech to try to get the most out of him. But if you saw both of them at the Pro Day, man, they look like different people.
Yeah,
Jalen Phillips looked like a top 10 NFL draft pick.
Would look like a man.
Rousseau looked like a college player.
I'm really curious though as to what would have happened with Rousseau if he had played this past year, right? Like feeding off of Phillips and feeding off of Roche. Like I think he could have had a really nice year, really boosted himself up higher. But hey, he made the choice he thought was right for him, so good for him.
All right, now at 50,
this where it gets dicey for me. I can't.
I would go in the secondary. I would go in the secondary, okay, and see if Holland is still available.
No Divine Diablo.
Nah, Holland from Oregon, safety. All right, he's there. Holland? Yeah, Javon Holland. He is the best single high safety prospect in this draft. Okay, if you're looking to draft Bobby McCain's replacement, that's him. That's him right there, and you could get him at 50. Now, is Quinn Miners still on the board? Because I would say center is a bigger pressing need. Then you just take him at 50. But Holland is a guy that I keep in mind.
So Miners is the pick, though.
Miners is the pick.
Yeah, right. Belly boy. I love me some Quinnen.
That's your guy.
He just
Holland just went at 80.
Oh no!
And just to piggyback off that, it's not necessarily that it's like, okay, we're gonna draft him and then cut Bobby, because one of the things you could do is you could put Bobby in the nickel, and then at that point, you're getting better at 2 spots, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's not just that. You're also keeping what's his name off the field.
All right, what are our picks? What picks do we have left?
We currently have 81, 156, 231, and 258.
Okay, can we get DeMar Hamlin at 156? I think so. If not at 81, I'm going to take my specialist here. What's that receiver?
Oh, I already know who he's going to go.
Oh, you got to.
That's obvious right there. You got to take. I think he might even be BPA at this point. So just take Dwayne Eskridge.
Yeah,
Dwayne Eskridge. 81.
Man, he lit up that Senior Bowl. I think didn't Richie Grant also have I know we were talking about safeties. Didn't Richie Grant also have a good Senior Bowl and the team liked him?
He went
all right, this picks itself. If DeMar Hamlin is on the board, then that's who we're taking.
He is on the
board. There it is.
And that's it right there. Now let's go get a special teams player, and I will take Divine Diablo if he's available with my next pick.
Yo, I love that name though.
He's gone. He's for sure gone. Yeah.
I like Trey Norwood. I like the safety from Oklahoma right there too.
But we already got we didn't get him. So by the way, Paris Ford, he was supposed to be so good.
You're in a 4.9.
So yeah,
I like them though.
He had to have been injured.
I don't get it. He played faster than that. It shocked me when I saw 4.9. I'm like, and that's with home cooking. Like,
what's the whole board have, Kai?
The entire board.
Oh, Errol Thompson. I mean, I know that guy. Like,
wow.
I feel like KJ Britt started a lot higher.
Let's look at linebackers, because we need a
McDuffie. I mean, that's a hell of a name.
Second to last pick here.
All right, because we got our cornerback. I mean, we got our safety, our single high safety.
Buddy Johnson. That's a great name. I'm just going based off of names at this point.
You know what? The BYU nose tackle. Go to defensive tackle, and we can fill another need there.
Not here. Not here.
Lorenzo Neal. I think his dad played fullback. I got some
Unless they
pedigree
put
there.
him as an edge. No, yeah, not here.
No, he's not there.
Nope.
Defensive tackle. What's on the board at defensive tackle?
Mustafa Johnson, Tadaro
Nope.
Slayton, Quentin Bohanna. These are some great names.
No, it
Austin
looks like
Fowler.
we're gonna go to UDFA's to find a zero in this draft. What's at linebacker?
You trying to get
Linebacker.
Raekwon out of the zero?
Yeah, I want him playing in different spots this year.
Mm.
I want to get the most out of him.
And we have a lot of defensive tackles too on the team.
You know, this is pick what? What pick is this? 231?
231. Yep.
You know what?
231.
Let's just do it. Let's fix the running back room. I mean the quarterback room. Jamie Newman's still up there?
No.
Nope.
He got taken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sam
Where did Jamie
Ellinger.
Newman go?
Sam Ellinger fits with what's the guy who came from Texas? I forget his name.
Yeah. You know what? This would be a pick. Like Jamie Newman actually got taken high, huh? Wow, I thought he would last this long.
He was in the
Von
main.
Diablo went 160. Not
All right. What picks do we have left? What picks
Just
do we have left?
231 and 258.
All right, 258 will be Sam Ellinger. All right. So let's go to edge. Let me see what we have on the edge. What's left on the edge? Okay, right there. Tyron Jackson, Coastal Carolina.
That's
Get him right
pick?
there. Yeah, that's
There was an edge, man. There was an edge you guys
Yeah,
loved
Sam
last year that I think
Ellinger.
came from a small school like that too.
To round it off. Just to confirm, Sam Ellinger with the second
Last
to last
pick.
pick in the draft.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. And that's the board. Kyle Pitts.
Man,
Najee
what a
Harris,
Alfredo, where do I put your resume, bro?
Miners, Dwayne Eskridge, DeMar Hamlin, Teron Jackson, and Sam Ellinger. Those
That's
are
Yo, we
that's
gotta
a good
wait.
draft right there.
Kai, don't exit out of that. Take a screenshot of it, and then on Wednesday we can compare the three.
Oh, I'm typing it down in our
Or like
Okay,
zoom it
yeah,
out.
cool.
Don't worry. I
Man, that's a nice draft though. You take Kyle Pitts at 6, Najee Harris at 18.
He hit every single need, like to
Yep.
the T. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
I know
like
it's
the
not a
only
small
misses,
team, but
like
yeah.
look, man, if you want Creed Humphrey, you probably have to trade to the bottom of the first round. So, you know, Creed
Yeah,
Humphrey.
I saw Packers is a very good spot for him to land in at the end of the
Yeah, because they
first.
just lost their Pro Bowl center, right? So
Exactly.
So yeah, you know, and as far as like you want Holland because Holland is the best single high safety in the draft. Morig is probably the best safety, period. But he's like Simon Clancy said on our podcast, he's a safety. You know what I mean? Holland is a little bit more versatile. He fits more with what Miami likes to do. Like he could come down on the slot and guard tight ends. You know, so he could be an eventual replacement for Eric Rowe. So I really like Holland. Like that's the guy that you would look at like with pick 50. And
Do you want us to send you this draft so you can rub it in Simon and Chris's face and be like, you see what would have happened if you would have listened to me?
Just post the screenshot and
Yeah.
that
We'll
would be
post the
good
screenshot
enough.
and you can let them have it because man, you did way better than this Micah Parsons nonsense. Absolute garbage. Last question before we go. There's been more rumblings kind of back and forth about the Dolphins trading out of 6. What would need to happen, in your opinion, for you to be comfortable with the Dolphins trading out of 6? And regardless of the circumstances, do you think the Dolphins do that?
Well, I think if Kyle Pitts is there at 6, man, you really need a lot of courage to trade out of there, right?
Yeah.
So I think it has to be a scenario where they're gone, where Kyle Pitts is gone, and Jamar Chase is gone. Like, let's be real about it. You know, this front office likes SEC players, so that probably puts Jamar Chase in play with the 2 Bama boys, right? So I would think that the choice is Waddle or Smith at 6, and they have pretty good intel that one of them will be available at 9, and they make a move with the Broncos.
With the Broncos, and I would assume the Broncos would be trading up for a quarterback at that point.
Right, and the Broncos would have to be pretty nervous about 7 or 8 taking a quarterback. Like I know 8 is Carolina. That's a possibility. Who's 7?
7 is Detroit.
Yeah. Both of them are kind of they're possibilities. So I could see a scenario where like what helps Miami. Well, what helps Miami is imagine
Mac Jones going 3.
Imagine
Fields
if Fields.
4.
Yeah. Well, no, if both of them drop to Miami, like let's say Miami is sitting
with
at
Fields
6,
and Lance there. Oh
with
yeah,
Fields and Lance there, you just start selling that pick.
you're giving
You
Chris
do an open
Greer all
auction.
the ammo needed to
You
just
do an open
wreck
auction. You
the
go on the
league.
stage and and have the announcer say, "All right, this is really really unusual. Chris Greer has just stepped onto the stage here at Cleveland, and he's taking the mic."
And he
You
dropped
know what I
it.
mean?
No,
You know
he
what I
just
mean?
he just starts auctioning it like an auction house. Like we've never
Yeah,
heard
he's
Chris
like, all
Greer
right,
talk this
do I
fast.
hear?
He's like,
All right, let's start at 4 first-round picks. All right, no takers. All right, who has 3 first-round picks for this? All right, no takers. All right, 2 first-round picks. All right, I got you. I see you, Denver, with 2 first-round picks. Does anybody got any better? All right, Detroit, you're throwing in what? Oh, you're throwing in DeAndre Swift? Okay, maybe we're talking right here.
Yo, let's get Alf in the draft.
yeah,
room.
listen, we
You know what
just
I mean?
need to somebody call up Chris Greer, tell him he's got a new analyst, and the analyst is Alf.
But that's
Alfredo's gonna help him
but
out.
you got to be careful. You can't go too far. You know what I mean? It has to be. You have to stick in that little sweet spot to guarantee yourself at the very worst, Jalen Waddle.
Right. So you think they need to walk away with one of the 4, and the 4 being Pitts, Chase, Sewell, not Sewell, Waddle,
Yeah.
and Smith. They need to walk away with one of those 4.
Yeah, one of those 4, and I'm happy. You know, and I, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Jamar Chase, but I recognize the talent. Like he's a mega talent.
Absolutely.
So
any
you
of
gotta
those
be happy
guys
with
taking
either
would
of
be
those
great.
4.
Yeah,
any of those
guys.
picks.
As long as it's not Penny Sewell.
Yeah.
The points you guys were making, I was already against Penei Sewell. I think he's a great prospect. I just think at that point you're shuffling the offensive line. I don't think Penei Sewell is going to be the high level talent that any of those other 4 guys can be. So
yeah, like the guy I was arguing with on Twitter like last week, he was like, "No, you take him, you put him at right tackle," and I'm like, "So you're drafting a right tackle at 6?"
Yeah.
No, you're taking a left tackle, but you're moving on the right tackle. I'm like, so you're drafting a right tackle at 6?
Yeah, that's I just don't see it.
I love that logic.
Sewell is talented. I don't think any of us would argue that. I just think it helps out this team.
And I tried to explain the guy, like, the guy got himself, like, if you did take him at 6, he got himself drafted as a left tackle, and now you're gonna make him play right tackle.
Yep.
Like that's like saying, you know what, we're taking Devonta Smith and we're gonna play him at corner. You know what I mean? Like that makes no sense to me.
Man, I will say though, I'm gonna bang the table for Jalen Waddle for a very long time. I think Jalen Waddle fits a really interesting need. I think that would be a good pick too. But I agree.
He's the best schematic fit. Period. Jalen Waddle. Like Jalen Waddle comes in and like he works.
Changes the offense. Yeah.
Yeah, he changes. He does exactly what the offense needs. Like while Will Fuller stretches vertically, he makes the field wider.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The problem that I see is, man, how do you justify that pick? You could justify it by saying, look, I'm in charge. I'm Chris Greer, and I'm just going to take him. But how do you justify him by saying, you know what? His teammate was the alpha there for 2 years. And not only was he the alpha, he was the alpha when Jerry Jeudy was there and when Henry Ruggs was there.
And
you're going to say, okay, this guy has been the alpha receiver at Alabama for 2 years. You're going to take wide receiver B? Receiver C?
It's complete projection over production at that point. Yeah.
Yes.
It's dangerous water.
Yeah. Yo, the Dolphins trade up from 18 and get Smith and Waddle. What? No, I'm just kidding. That'll never happen. But it would be crazy. All right, that seems like a good note to end it. Alfredo, thank you so much for joining the show, man. Really appreciate it. Are you guys are releasing a 3 yards per carry episode on Wednesday, right? Right before the draft?
Yeah, it's gonna be a light episode. Like I don't know if you guys have been following, but
we've been
building this draft guide. Well, the problem is that I ask a question and Chris Kaufman starts talking,
and then Simon goes at it,
and pretty soon it's an hour and 30 minutes later.
Yeah,
but that's the most fun.
And then I ask my second question, and then Chris Kaufman goes for another 45 minutes.
I feel like Alfredo has this whole list for the episode. He's got like 5 to 6 questions ready to go, and he gets to do 2.
It's like
just 2.
It's just like you, Mike.
Literally.
Yeah. I don't even try. Look, Alfredo, I don't know what to do with these people. I think we should just let the 4 of them do their own show. No organization should see what happens, right? They need people like us, Alfredo. Thank you so much for joining the show, man.
Yeah, pick up the Simon Clancy draft guide. And if you want to hear our draft guide, it's right there in our archives, our episodes. We've been building our own archive, our own draft guide, and it's about 6 hours long, really. So, but you can pick it out. You can pick and choose what you want to listen to. trust me, they have. Like, I noticed that nobody wants to download the linebacker special. Like, that one has like 2,000 less downloads than all the other ones.
That
Like,
one
I guess
talked about
nobody wants a
Michael Parsons.
linebacker.
That was my favorite one.
Wide receivers just too sexy, man. Wide receivers just too
Wide
sexy.
receivers got tens of thousands of downloads. Like, that was
I was the
It's
running
over
back one
everything.
too.
yeah, the running back one did good. So you can tell what people want, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining Alfredo. Don't forget, you can also check out Alfredo's mock draft. He has a mock draft on the 5 Reasons Sports website. I think you've done 3 iterations of it. You did all the first round picks, correct?
Yes, all the first round picks. I ended up in this latest one with Najee Harris at 18, Devonta Smith at 6.
Hey, you see,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
solid
insane.
draft. That's a way better draft than Micah Parsons. I don't know if Simon or Chris are
And
going to
that's
watch
great
this.
and that's
but-
also great for
Michael, you're
the
you're saying
network
it so
because-
much, you're gonna jinx yourself, bro.
I just don't want it.
about it.
I just don't want
That's
it.
really good. If we end up with Devonta Smith and Najee Harris,
Mhm.
that's really good for the network too. Because think about the t-shirts. We could have super
Yep.
friends.
Oh, there, I love the
Alabama,
plug.
Alabama already knows about us, right? Because Alabama's been really following the network for a while. Like, Alabama, just come on down. Just all of you, just come on down.
Just make
So
it
thank you
South
so much for
Florida,
joining us,
Alabama.
Alfredo. This has been an incredibly fun episode. We will be back tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. with a Royal. He's going to do his own draft. I very, very much doubt it'll end up as good as Alfredo's. Honestly, he's going to get
Yeah.
to like a 4th round pick and be like, who the heck is this guy?
For sure.
Yeah, he'll know up to 36. After that, I don't know, but it'll be a fun episode because it's always entertaining with Royal. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a good night.